Hey kids, check out the updated Motorz TV studio. Pretty cool looking, huh? After 10 years, I decided to change things up a little, add some color and make it look cool instead of that gray and white wall that was here before. We've got some other changes in store for you as well. Now to kick off the 8th season of Motorz, I've got a little DIY action for those older pickup trucks that don't have backup cameras. We start working on a side-by-side and Alan visits the Katzkin leather factory. So, roll new intro. Now that's what I'm talking about. A nice short intro, get right back to the show. Now this year marks the 100th episode, this is actually number 95, and the 10th year of the show. I can't thank you guys enough for all of your support and feedback over the years to help get the show to where it is today. Now for longtime fans of the show, you've already noticed a bunch of changes and there's more to come, trying to keep things fresh around here. Moving forward, you'll see a lot more, so keep on watching. Now today, I'm gonna bring in that F-150. I've got one more mod that I need to install in it. You're gonna like it. Well, you know all those current model pickups that have their backup cameras built into their tailgates? Well, what about older trucks, like my daily driver, the 2005 F-150? Well, I found an aftermarket tailgate handle for it on Amazon, and it's just plug and play, along with a bunch of wiring, of course. Now I'm gonna show you how to make that upgrade on your own. Then we're gonna start working on a new and different kind of project vehicle for the show, a side-by-side. It's a 2014 Polaris RZR XP 1000. Every year we go to the SEMA show and they're everywhere. So much aftermarket available, so we figured we'd mod ours too. Now when we're done with it today, it's gonna have more off-road LED lighting than it knows what to do with. Now coming up later, Alan takes you on a factory tour of Katzkin leather in Montebello, California. Well, let me get that F-150 in here so I can give it some new eyes. I've been test driving a lot of newer vehicles lately, especially the latest pickup trucks. One of the things that I really like about them is that they have backup cameras mounted right here in the tailgate handle. It's the perfect place for it. Now my 2005 F-150, it's about 13 years old now. It doesn't have a backup camera because that tech didn't exist back then. It wasn't an option from the OEMs. Now I lifted it up 6 inches and it's rolling on 35, so it's pretty high. And when I'm backing up, it's hard to see what's behind me, especially at night. Now I've always wanted to get a backup camera for it, but I didn't like a whole lot of the aftermarket options that were available out there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now you got two options when it comes to using a backup camera down in this area of your vehicle. The popular choice is the license plate frame backup camera. It looks just like this one here, but it's got a camera mounted right up at the top. It's got all the wiring and everything built right in, it's plug and play, it's a good solution. Now the other option that I did a few years back is I got one of those round cameras and I put it right here. Now, I stopped using it after a while, and here's why. By law, your license plate has to be illuminated at night. And so what happens is these two lights here come on to shine on your license plate. That's good for your license plate, but horrible for your cameras because it just completely blows them out, rendering them useless. So guys, it's not an option down here. So I started wondering if there's an aftermarket solution for guys like me that want to put a backup camera right into their tailgate handle. So I did some searching around, and this is what I found at Amazon for under 100 bucks. It's a replacement tailgate handle for the truck that's got a camera built right into it. So what's the catch? Well, you've got to have an upgraded aftermarket head unit like my Alpine IVA W505 that I installed on the show like, I don't know, 8 years ago. Check it out. The other option is to get an aftermarket rear view mirror that's got a small little display built right into it. That's another popular choice as well. So once you've got that covered, the only thing left to do is to replace the tailgate handle and do a bunch of wiring. I'm going to show you how to do it. By the way, if you're wondering why most new vehicles sold these days have backup cameras as a standard feature, it's because as of May of this year, 2018, it is required by law for them to have them in the US and Canada. Now you're going to need a Torx T30 driver or bit like this one, and then you're going to need to remove the 8 fasteners. Now if you've got something covering it like I do with this bed rug, you're going to need to remove that first. After removing that panel, you've got two 10mm nuts you've got to remove here and here. Now with those two nuts loose, this will be free, so just get in there from the back side, wiggle the handle a little bit until it pops out. Now that I've got the old handle removed, I've got to transplant the lock from this one to the new one. And for that, all you're going to need is a flat blade screwdriver. Come on. There we go. Boom. So before I scratch it anymore, I'm going to protect the wrap. There, that ought to do it. Now you can install the new tailgate handle, just make sure the wiring goes up inside, and you want to do it top first. Okay, there goes the wiring. And I replaced the 10 millimeters. Now you want to tighten these down loosely, because before you tighten them all the way down, you want to lift up your tailgate a little bit to make sure that your handle is positioned correctly. Okay, the tailgate handle is still a little bit loose, which means I can take off the tape now. There we go. I'm going to climb up in here like a monkey and tighten it down. Maybe a little bit higher. Right there. So now I've got this one cable coming out of my tailgate. Now what do I do next? Well, I've got to route it through my tailgate, pop it out down there, route it along the frame into the cab of the truck. At the other end is this guy, an RCA video signal. I'm going to plug this into the back of my head unit where it says camera in. Now this is where it gets scary for a lot of people because it involves the dreaded wiring. Now there's two wires that you have to hook up, only two, a negative and a positive. The negative is actually part of these two guys, and I'm going to hook it up down here. The positive is here and here, which gets confusing at both ends. We only have to hook up one of them. In this particular situation, they give you the option of doing either one, in the back or the front. In the back, you'd hook it up to a backup light. In the front, you'd hook it up to a reverse signal wire. Now, in the case of this 2005 F-150, which is also going to apply to all 2004 to 2008, it's a lot easier to hook it up in the cab. Now this guy gets hooked up to that wire, and then there's another wire that comes off the back of my head unit that tells my head unit to switch the video to the backup camera. Now the reason why it's done this way is because you want it to come on automatically when you put your transmission in reverse. So it does two things when you put your transmission in reverse. It sends power to the backup camera telling it to come on because you don't want that camera on all the time, and it sends a signal to your head unit telling it to switch the display to the backup camera so that you can see where you're backing up. So let me show you how this is all done. Now, as I just mentioned, I got to route this cable along the inside and pop it out down here so I can go straight down to the frame. Now on the back side here, there are two holes. I need to get this cable through there. This is where it gets tricky, but here is a trick to show you how to do it. Now there's three tools that I recommend for routing wires around your vehicle like your tailgate. Two of them are right here. One is an old antenna from my F-150. The other is a pickup tool from Craftsman. And the third, which I do recommend, is a coat hanger just because it's more bendable. And that's what I'm going to actually use. This method that I used right here didn't work out so well. So I pulled that back out and ended up using a coat hanger. Now in areas like this where there's sheet metal and your wire, make sure you protect it with some wire loom or just put some electrical tape around there. Best thing to use is some wire loom, and this kit included some, which makes it a lot easier. Now I'll save you guys the agony of having to watch me roll around on the ground for about a half an hour as I route the wires along the inside of the frame, and then it pops out on the outside of the frame right there and then up into the cab. All right, I'm up inside my vehicle. I've got my Alpine right here. I need to get to the back of it, but in order to get it out, I've got to pop off this center part of the dash. Fortunately for me, I've done this probably 100 times over the years, so it just pops right out. If you haven't done it, you might have to get in there with a plastic pry tool. Sometimes it helps to open up the ashtray at the bottom, the cup holder. And then here it comes. Blah! It's like my dash just threw up. I've added this red wire for the backup or reverse signal. It goes behind the glove box down to the passenger side kick panel where that fuse box is. Now right above all the fuses is a wiring harness. It's that first wire on the right hand side, this guy. That's the one you want to tap into with a posi tap or something else. So one of the things I need to do is I need to connect that RCA cable that came from the back. That is for the backup camera video signal, and I'm plugging this into the camera in the back of my Alpine. So it's these three wires that need to be connected together. Signal from the fuse panel that tells the camera to turn on and tells the Alpine that it is time to go to the camera. Now one other thing I wanted to mention about my Alpine head unit, and this might be the same for yours as well, is that under setup, system setup, there's this option for camera in. It can be on or off. I'm leaving mine off because it really doesn't matter. It's going to get that signal from the vehicle to engage the camera and turn it on, and I'll show you right now when I put it in reverse. There it is. I'll be right back with more motors, and we're going to hit the dunes. I'm out here in the Imperial Sand Dunes of Southern California, better known as Glamis. Right next to me is a bone stock Polaris RZR 1000. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because it does just fine out here in this giant sandbox. But that's not what we do here on the show. So after we're done playing around with it stock, we're going to take it back to the shop, do some improvements, and bring it back out here and see how it performs. As we got further out into the dunes, we found this interesting structure surrounded by a ton of people. We had to go investigate. Well, it turns out it is a massive steel swing set. How crazy is that? Out in the middle of the sand dunes, someone brought in materials and constructed a swing set for the kids. Well, it's actually a memorial for Art Wood, a UTV salesman and a regular at Glamis who passed away in 2016 due to cancer, 39 years young. I never met Art, but I can tell he touched the hearts of many people who built this amazing memorial to honor him. Next, we headed to this massive hill located deep in the dunes known as China Wall. It's steep and a fun place to test your sand toys or just watch others try to get up. Since our RZR is stock, we wanted to see how far we could get so we could improve it and try again later. Turns out, with the two of us in there, after 3 runs, we were able to get a little bit more than 3/4 of the way up. We'll fix that. For now, we're going to the drags and then back to the studio to start some mods. Drag racing at the Glamis sand dunes is a spectacle, especially at nighttime. But to be safe, you need a lot of light. The stock RZR 1000 headlights are okay, but when you're moving along at full speed, you need more, a whole lot more. So let's get the side-by-side back in the Motorz shop, stat, and do some serious upgrading action. Heretic Studio makes some killer high-performance LED light products specifically for the XP 1000 as well as other side-by-sides. The headlights and tails are easily double the light output over stock, and installation is as simple as swapping them out. They not only look futuristic, but they come in different colors and are made right here in the USA. In addition to their headlights, taillights, and Quattro light pods, we also picked up this 30-inch light bar to turn night into day, and a 3-piece grill that features a smaller 6-inch LED light bar, all with red accent colors. So let's start by installing the grill. Now this 3-piece grill couldn't be any easier to install. Simply pop out the stock upper grill, then remove the fasteners for the lower grill, then put the fasteners back in with the new grill. After comparing apples to oranges, just snap in your new grill. Yes, there's some simple wiring that's involved, but we'll get to that later. We're going to get to the headlights next. Now, you don't need to remove the bumpers in order to install these lights, but we did for filming purposes. Now, if you want to do the same and play along, use a Torx T40 bit or driver, remove the 10 fasteners holding the front end on, then using a Torx T25, remove the 3 fasteners holding the stock lights down. Now, you will be reusing this hardware, including the springs, so don't lose them. Can you say badass upgrade? Well, I just did. There's just no comparison over stock. These aren't just stock headlight lenses retrofitted with LEDs either. Just look how well made these are. They support low and high beams, are made from billet aluminum, and feature a double O-ring design to keep out water, moisture, and dust. Oh, and check out this integrated halo light, or is it a daytime running light? Either way, it's cool. Install them using the hardware I told you not to lose earlier, and then reinstall the front end. Now, I'm not trying to make this look simple, guys. This really is that simple. Now here's the really hard part. Okay, I'm just joking. See the dangling wires and the wiring harness? You gotta connect them to stuff. Thankfully, the stuff is super obvious. The harness mates up to the factory harness, and then this red wire gets connected to the red wire they supply, and the black one, well, you get the idea. They just made it all too easy. Those black and red wires are also cut to a perfect length to connect to your RZR 1000's keyed ignition power supply and ground, so that the halos or DRLs will turn on with your key. Once connected, you're good to go. Swapping out the taillights is just as easy as the headlights. Remove the 3 11mm fasteners that hold the stock lights on, and then use their hardware along with a 5/32 driver to mount the new lights. Again, the difference between the stock and Heretic's LED replacement is night and day. Check this out. Now onto the wiring. Connect the wiring harness for the reverse lights, then the factory wiring harness, and then reinstall the bumper. For those killer rear LED lights, you're going to need to run wiring to your battery and to a switch that's not supplied on the dash. Heretic's light pods are called Quattro LED lights. They draw only 2.5 amps and pump out 2,500 lumens. We're installing ours on the front of the cage, so first remove the 2 factory cage bolts to mount the lights. We picked up some aftermarket brackets available just about anywhere off-road accessories are sold and bolted them onto the cage using the bolts we just removed. The lights come with a quick disconnect wiring harness, but there's a challenge. It won't fit down in this gap for the cage, so we're going to snip the wire and then reconnect it after we route it where we want it. Next up is Heretic's 30-inch LED light bar. You can mount these to any vehicle really, but to mount them to our RZR XP 1000 we picked up these brackets from 50 caliber racing at an off-road swap meet, which made installation a breeze. The tricky part is when it comes to the wiring for the light bar. You need to run the provided wire through the roll cage. Now there's a hole at the top and the bottom. After we pushed the wire up from the bottom, I grabbed a pick tool and a flat blade screwdriver to yank it on out. Then it was just a matter of performing some electrical surgery, then connecting it to the battery and a dash switch. Now the manufacturer says you'll be able to signal Batman with this light, and we believe them. It pumps out a whopping 13,680 lumens, which I think is 1 lumen less than the sun. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's seriously bright. Light up your next off-road adventure from top to bottom and front to rear with all of these incredible LED lights from Heretic Studio. Now, would you guys believe that it's been 10 years since I showed you how to install this custom Katzkin leather interior in my F-150? I can't, and it's held up great. There's no issues with it whatsoever. But it is a custom leather interior, and sometimes you just want to change it up. And that's exactly what Alan decided to do, so he took his 2 old Chevy trucks back to Katzkin in Montebello, California, and got the latest styles. And while he was there, he also gave us a factory tour. Check this out.
I'm Tim Clyde, I'm the CEO of Katzkin Leather, and we make custom leather automotive interiors. Katzkin was started in 1983 by Mitch Katz and his sister Leslie. They were siblings or next of kin, and so the name became Katzkin. And since 1986, we have made close to 2 million leather interiors.
After having Tim Clyde, the CEO of Katzkin, on my radio show a number of times over the years, and watching their success story unfold right in front of my eyes, I decided it was time to give my 7-year-old Chevy Silverado 1-ton an interior makeover.
The really cool thing is that we are doing hundreds and hundreds of custom interiors every day. We have 24 hours from the time that we get the order to the time that we ship it to our customer to complete that order.
To redesign and upgrade this enormous truck, I sent Katzkin some photos and dove right into the creative transformation process with their design team.
So we bring in very high quality leather and our folks hand inspect it every day. We are looking for all sorts of flaws, from tick bites to brands that are on the leather, etc. We've invested significantly in automated cutting and sewing equipment and technology so that we can make a leather interior affordable for consumers and optimize the yield that we get out of our leather.
Since the truck has a bold red exterior, I chose a rich cognac brown with a specialty leather called Barracuda. When perforated, it reveals the red-tinted flesh leather beneath.
Custom interior requires that we cut and sew and put together every day over 200 parts that go into an interior. Some of those components are little plastic parts that are used to ensure that we have a fit and finish in the installation that matches or exceeds the fit and finish of an OEM interior. After we finish inspecting and cutting the leather, we then go into various preparation processes. One of the most important is we custom embroider logos for whatever people want to put on their vehicle. We give people an opportunity to really customize what they want to see in their logo, and we have very high quality stitching available in a wide variety of colors to ensure that they really get the look that they want.
The transformation was absolutely awesome. When I picked up my truck, it was like driving a completely different vehicle. The quality and feel of the leather, the stitching, and the custom Craftsman logos were exceptional. The workmanship was so impressive that I got bit by the bug, and I decided to upgrade my white 2011 Silverado Lingenfelter Performance half-ton truck.
So quality is built into our entire process from start to finish. It does end with a final quality inspection with very highly trained quality inspectors who have been doing this job for many, many years.
The vehicle interior transformation, the personalization through the custom Katzkin process, and the creative design elements of which Katzkin has built its reputation really added a tremendous value to each one of my vehicles.
Kind of digging my new sign, all sorts of colors. Got the blue, the green I like, green's cool. Red's kind of dark though. There's white or blue. I think I like the blue. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on social media. Well, I'm getting hangry. I'm gonna go grab some lunch. You get out there and wrench, and I'll catch you next time on Motorz.